Hello there. Great to have you with us on this webinar. We're looking at a formula to help you create content that's even more valuable so you get even better business results. I'm Sonja.
And I'm Sharon.
We run Valuable Content, and we've got about 65 people from all over the world on this call. We've got people from Romania, where I spoke recently. We've got people from India,
Copenhagen,
Bristol, quite a lot from Bristol, where we're based. And we're really excited to have you with us today.
The plan for the next 45 minutes or so is we're going to take a deep dive into the content challenge so that we can teach you ways that you can make your content marketing easier. It is a challenge making it work, but there are ways and there's a process that you can take which will make it, not only make it easier for you, but also make it more successful, help you get better results. So we're going to share some case studies of businesses who are making content marketing work for them really well, that we hope that you'll be able to learn from. And we'll give you some key learning points and some actions that you can take so you can start making changes to the way you create and share your content from today.
So we'll answer your questions at the end. We're going to flip over to some slides now, and we've got a whole heap of case studies and stories of businesses getting it just right with lessons that you can pull out to make it work better for your business too. Here we go.
Here we go. The Valuable Content Formula, how to create content that gets results.
So why are we so fascinated by the content challenge? We've been doing this for a lot of years because I guess it's because time and again we've seen that if you create great content for your business and for your customers, then good things happen. Sharing valuable content is an entirely different way of communicating what you do. It's a different way of doing business. It's more truthful, it's more honest, it's definitely more empathetic. And it's more effective, that's the point. And I think that's never been needed more than in our current climate. And what's more, it's going to bring you a whole heap of benefits, greater awareness, more of the right leads, more of the right sales, more love and buzz around what you do as a business. So if you create valuable content for your customers, then unexpectedly good things seem to happen for your business. As a result. Now you probably know this, but the question is, how do you do it? How do you actually make it work?
So the question there again, how do you create and share the right content so that you drive interest, sales, and long-term success? That's what we're going to share with you. Now there's some people on the call who know us very well, and there's some people who are kind of new friends maybe. So we just thought we'd say a little bit about us and our background. We're Sonja and Sharon, and we run Valuable Content. We've been fascinated by the power of great content to build and transform businesses for a long time now, and on a mission to help good businesses find their voice and get the word out in the best way possible. We've been writing a blog to share what we know about content for about 10 years now. The content has won us clients and friends around the world, from startups to university, from Google even. We did the training course for Google, didn't we? And the island of Lanzarote. We've written a couple of books on content marketing, and we've got people thinking big about their content in all kinds of different places. The picture on the right is of us with a small group of business owners up a mountain in Wales. We were talking up there about how to create great content. And the picture on the left-hand side is of us at Pub School, which was a course we ran in our local pub for about 3 years, taking small groups of business owners through the process we're going to talk you through today to help them make their marketing work better.
So it is a challenge, as Sharon said. Now, some of you very kindly helped us by answering a survey that we put out a few weeks back. And it was interesting to know that it is a hard challenge for many people. We had about 89 responses in total from businesses big and small. And you gave us a really fascinating insight into exactly what people are struggling with when it comes to creating and sharing content and actually getting results from their efforts. One quote that's not up here I really loved, and somebody said, understand it's the problem, the challenge is understanding what my target audience really wants to know and feeling that my content is authoritative and helpful, so that I'm actually creating value rather than simply adding to the noise. And they put a little caveat there saying, AKA, I'm scared. And I think that's how a lot of people feel.
It is, yeah.
We want to allay some of those fears today, really. So, the challenge differs slightly depending on the size of the business. We know quite a lot of people on this call run small, freelance businesses or micro businesses. The content challenge is mainly around knowing what content to create and finding the time and the support to actually make it happen when you're doing so many things in your job. In larger businesses, the situation is more complex. That absolutely stays, that time factor. But it's also around getting buy-in from the rest of the business. Agreement on the business development goals for content can be tough to reach when there's loads of stakeholders and a variety of options. But the formula that we're going to create, we're going to share with you today, helps to unpick some of that too. So whether you're big or small, this formula will work.
We're real big fans of maps and of trying to find ways to help people understand the content challenge, because really once you understand what the challenge is, then it's much easier to tackle it step by step. And what better way to do that than by creating a map of the land of content. This map really represents what happens and what we've seen happening hundreds and hundreds of times through the businesses that we've worked with. So when people decide they want to do content marketing, they land here in the land of content in a place called the Veil of Good Intentions. This is where you're deciding that, yes, I'm going to invest in content to market my business. So off I go. And where you're heading for is down here, which is Bountiful Bay, which is the place where content marketing is working really well, where your business is generating the leads it needs, where you're getting your reputation's building, your content's out in the world, kind of doing a job of representing you kind of before you even turn up. People get to know you, like you, and trust you because of the content that you share. And that's what people are aiming for, this Bountiful Bay. But there's a long way across the island to get to Bountiful Bay, and there's a few places people slip up. The first one is a place we call the Port of Quick Wins, which is over here, which is where you kind of realise that the content challenge is difficult, and maybe you try to look for a few shortcuts. You think, oh, I won't bother doing all this blogging, it's really hard work, I'll just outsource it, and somebody can do it for a $5 each, but you won't get results from that. Or they think maybe it's an SEO, just a question of SEO. If I just give this money to a company, they'll be able to kind of jiggle the figures and somehow I'll appear at the top of search. But again, that won't work. Unfortunately, there isn't a shortcut to creating genuinely valuable content. Another place people fall down is a place up here called Foggy Bottom, which is where you are determined to do it yourself, but you realise when you sit down to write a blog or to create a guide or to start a newsletter that you don't actually know what to say. You don't know what your message is, you don't know what your story is, you don't know what kind of content is going to be right for you. So that's a place we called Foggy Bottom. The place at the bottom is kind of the marshes of ill prepared. Do you want to say a bit about that?
Say about that? Yeah. So that's one thing. It's another of the perils that we've witnessed, which is where a business may have good content, but the platform, the website, and the aligned systems just aren't set up for success. So you can have great content, people can't find it on your website, or they get to your blog and it looks so awful that they're not likely to stick around, or some bits of the system are missing, like encouraging people to sign up for email updates. That opt-in, optional opt-in is a missing piece and a really key piece of the jigsaw if you want to make this valuable content marketing thing work for you. So that's the marshes of the ill-prepared, and there's a rip tie between all these places: marshes of the ill-prepared, Port of Quick Wins, Foggy Bottom, right the way around to Shit Creek. Nobody needs to go there. There's a couple of other locations as well. So Lonely Crag we've got in the top right-hand corner. That's where you're feeling like you're on your own. You're a freelancer and it's hard because you're on your own and you're writing in a bit of an echo chamber, and that feels difficult.
Like nobody's listening. Who am I even writing to? And it's just hard doing it on your own. You need motivation, you need feedback, and it helps to have people around you to create content. Another place is the place underneath. The writing's a bit small there, but it says "Too quick, too soon, peak." And this is a place where you're maybe a bit over enthusiastic about your capacity for creating content. You think, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do a newsletter a week. I'm going to do 5 blogs a month. I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to do some videos. And actually, after just 3 weeks of that, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
You kind of need to find a system and a pace that works for you and your clients and customers. Don't be too don't be too ambitious.
There's a couple of paths to success, you'll be glad to hear. So those are the perils and the pitfalls we've set out, or at least some of them. There's two paths. Sharon's wiggling away down Grafter's Gorge with the mouse at the moment. And that's where, you just push on through. You decide, I'm just going to learn from my failures, learn from what works. It can feel a bit like pushing a boulder uphill sometimes. It's hard work, but you can get success that way. It just takes a long time, and you can sink a lot of time and energy and money into getting results. There is a quicker way. This is what we call wisdom way, and it
starts in power playing, doesn't it?
It does. This is where people stop and pause and reflect, just as you're doing now. They do their research. They think about what their customers need and the content they can create. And with that new clarity, they can push on much more quickly and more effectively to Bountiful Bay. And we're going to show you a bit more on that today. Now, we do hear a lot of frustration, sometimes even desperation, I think, from people saying, our content isn't working, we must do more, we must get results quickly, more is better, let's do more now. But to get your content working for you, we know that it really does help to pause and reflect, just like you're doing today. And so give yourselves a pat on the back for finding some time to actually think this through. You're on power plane.
So, the valuable content formula, and what does it take to make it work for you?
Well, those are the pitfalls, and that's a bit of the journey. But the essential elements are pretty simple in some ways. Stepping back and looking at all the clients that we've worked with and the projects that we've had real results from, where people's content's firing and getting them the right leads in, we see that they follow quite a similar pattern, a similar formula. They're driving growth and they're driving long-term success for their businesses with a heady mix of, firstly, customer focus. The people that get this right really do know exactly who they're writing for, and their content is written to serve their needs, but it's based on that deep understanding. Secondly, business clarity on what you do, how you do it, why you do it, what you stand for as a business. The businesses that get their content right have that balance of both. But there's also something more emotive. They share a certain mindset. A very generous giving mindset. They've got a real zeal for inspiring and helping their type of clients and customers, their prospects succeed. And finally, they've got the systems and the skills to actually make this approach work. They've invested in those. And again, you might look at this and you think, wow, look at that balance. And the percentages there. What? Systems and skills don't matter, only 10%. We know they absolutely do, but from experience of getting this content approach working for so many different businesses, it's the systems, technical skills, and tactics are not necessarily the best place to start to unblock the challenge that you've got. It's that shift in mindset and thinking and clarity of strategy that's a kicking off point for real success. So bear with us here. We're going to show you a route through. Let's look at each of these in a bit more detail. What do they look like and how can you achieve them, most importantly?
Yeah, so the first one is customer focus. And by that we mean absolutely knowing your customer inside out, understanding their challenges, their worldview, what's difficult for them, what they're trying to achieve, and how you can help. So exactly who are you targeting? Who does your business serve? Who are your ideal clients? Being clear and being niche is a good thing. And to make it easy, you need to have kind of the narrowest possible viable audience for the best long-term results. So you can really focus in on a small group of people that you want to serve. You'll be able to create much better content. You'll be able to sharpen your message so that it gets some kind of emotional connection. Being specific is so much better than being vague when it comes to knowing your customer. How can you do that? Well, we recommend going beyond sort of basic persona exercises. I mean, any marketing setup will say you get to know your customers first, and there's kind of sort of on paper exercises you can do to get to know your clients. But we would say go deeper and talk to real people. That's absolutely fundamental. Talk to ideal clients. You'll get on far better if you know how real people think and feel, rather than just, my ideal customer's a woman, she aged between 25 and 42, and she shops in John Lewis. And that's just too vague. You want absolutely real material to work with. And we've got a process for interviewing customers, and that we teach in our courses, and we'll also give you insight into in a few minutes. Every single successful messaging and website project that we've worked on has really started digging deep into the customer focus first off. And we promise you that all marketing is easier, and also it's more rewarding when you do this, when you really have a super crystal clear picture of who you're trying to serve.
We've got a bit of a test so you can tell how customer focused your content, your marketing is. We call this the wee test. There is actually an online customer focus calculator site which you can use. You just stuff in your URL and it'll tell you how customer focused you are. And literally it's counting up the words that talk about the customer. Let's say you all the time, and the number of words that talk about we and your business name, and they give you a score. And absolutely every time that we look at the websites and we talk to the businesses who are scoring really well on the customer focus side, they're the ones who are getting they're the ones that are getting results from their websites, because it's all about the customer. It's all about you, not all about we. Just like our friends, we're going to show you now at Newfangled.
Yeah. This is Newfangled, who are extremely customer focused in their content. Customer focused that they don't just have an About Us page, but they have an About You page, which is something that we really recommend. It's, if you want your website to connect with people, if you can make people feel seen and heard, and like, this is talking exactly to me, the About You page is a fantastic way to do that. Newfangled started out as a web design agency, and now they're absolutely brilliant digital marketing consultants. So this is their inspiring About You message. It's kind of a call to action, saying your best days are ahead of you. You want to do more impactful, more profitable work for more appreciative clients. So it's talking to their kind of ambitious marketers that they really want to help. And underneath here, which you can't see on the slide, there's a statement which I'm going to read to you, because I think it's really good for showing a company talking directly to a customer in a way that's going to make them know, like, trust them. So they say, if you're on the right website now, you're a brilliant marketer, or maybe part of a brilliant marketing firm. And if that's true, you're almost guaranteed to be pretty terrible at marketing your own firm. It's okay, you're not alone. In fact, you've got nothing but company. It's a predictably consistent paradox. Marketers simply abhor marketing themselves. They want to, they know how to do it for clients, but they just can't do it for themselves. This is why Newfangled exists. We've been working with marketing firms for over 20 years, and we know everything about you. We know why you don't market, why the CEO is frustrated because of it, why they also, for some reason, think it's going to get better next year. We know why the creative director wanted the site to look the way they did, why the copywriter wrote the copy they did. We also know exactly why all of that isn't working. We adore you. Truly, we choose to make our living this way because agency people are the people we know and like best, and they're the ones we can help the most. We don't know of a single other group of people who are collectively more interesting, intelligent, typically good-hearted, grateful, cultured, and fun. It thrills us to help good people like you. If you're still reading, we'd love to have a conversation with you to forecast a vision of what life in your firm could look like when it's fueled by exceptional long-term marketing systems and habits. I just love that. I mean, it is almost a love letter. Once you've got to know your customers through research, you would be able to write something like that and share it on your website if it was appropriate. And it won't. The kind of research and the ability to write this message won't just help you write a kind of lovely, welcoming page for your website. It'll also inform the kind of content that you create. You'll know what the blogs, the guides,
the ones that answer the questions they've got.
Yeah, I mean, they create fantastic stuff for these people because they know them inside out, back to front.
Podcasts,
yeah, everything.
Blog articles, guys, they're superb, aren't they?
They are really, really good. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the customer focus, and obviously it's really, really good to understand your customers, but to get success from your content, it's vital you understand your business too. Now, by business clarity, we mean understanding what, how and why you do what you do. And again, that does sound obvious, but from experience, we know that not every business has it right, and it's absolutely vital if you're going to create content that does what you want it to do for your firm. So you might have heard of a guy called Simon Sinek. He wrote a book which is on the shelf behind Sharon called Start with the Why, and it's brilliant. And he also created a TED Talk, which I think is the second most popular one in the world. And he believes that every business knows what it does. Some know how they do it, but very, very, very few businesses know why they do what they do. We'd argue that that's true, but not every business is clear on the what and the how either. But the why is absolutely vital, and it's a really good place to start. So why do you do what you do? Why are you a designer and not a teacher? Why are you a consultant and not a marketing director at a big firm? These kind of questions can be really hard to answer. And you might fall back on, well, it's all I know how to do, or I don't know, it just happened. But if you dig deeper, you will uncover a story that will make things fall into place for you and make connecting with others who think like you far easier to market. And it becomes far easier to market and sell what you do if you can do that. These kind of stories, purposeful stories behind why a business exists, are a fantastic way to connect with people. It makes a website much more emotive. So put some time into uncovering your business's story. And once you're clear on why you do what you do, make yourself easy to buy from. Be very clear what you do and how you do it too. Now, there's a test we've got on how to tell if you've got that level of business clarity. It's pretty straightforward. Can you easily talk about your business when asked what do you do? Are your About Us and your services pages really clear? There's a neat exercise we use in our training called the audio logo exercise, which helps you describe what you do and answer those 3 questions: what, how, and why, in a really emotive way, so you can see where the gaps are. This is an example of a company that we've worked with who has got the customer and business clarity absolutely right. This is the Get Real project. They've got bags of personality, but also that real level of clarity. So, the Get Real team are really clear on who they work for. They're specifically for the people who work in consultative roles. They know what problems they solve for those type of people. They improve how people sell, they improve how people consult, and they improve how people advise. And they know what they're offering. It's training programs. That's what they do. And they also know what they stand for. They're really clear on their perspective. What drives them. They're real advocates for real human behaviour, even in big consulting practices. And these guys are kind, warm, straight talking, funny and wise, and they share their beliefs. The Get Real manifesto that they've created is a core piece of content on the website. It really packs loads of business wisdom into a seriously good looking web page and some great content.
So that's the manifesto there. It's on their website and it's up on our wall over there somewhere. You probably can't see it at the moment, but it's a lovely looking thing. And the reason they can do this is because they are so crystal clear on why they exist and what their perspective is. They've translated all that into this list of words, some of which are really counterintuitive to what you would imagine a consultant would be saying. And there's maybe not many people who would be saying to their clients, if you can't be yourself, change jobs, or hire a therapist, or both. I mean, they absolutely want to make businesses more human, want people to be able to have real conversations. And so they advocate being vulnerable rather than being kind of very hard. They teach people how to improvise. I mean, it's a very different way of being, and they've managed to get it all down into this beautiful manifesto. But under each of these manifesto points, they can go deeper and deeper. And this is the kind of the core of the content, a lot of the content they create. So Andrea creates email newsletter tips, which dig deep into each one of these points to kind of help people show how to put that into practice. And then the email things also build up into an ebook, which is coming into a book that's going to be published next year. Right. So while this is a beautiful, succinct version of that in their manifesto, it's also a mile deep, that showing their knowledge and their approach.
So this is the real sort of linchpin behind Andrea Howe. She's the founder of the Get Real Project. It's around her content strategy, and it's this is a poster that can go on the walls for clients to inspire them. It's a postcard she sends to all her training delegates. It's an absolutely core piece of content, and it's right at the heart of it all. So this is the level of business clarity and also belief that we're aiming for you too, if you want your content to really fire people up and also to bring you results.
Okay. We've gone too far. No, go back up.
That's it.
That one.
Yeah,
there we are.
There you go. Seamless.
Yeah, seamless. So the third success factor is a giving mindset. And by giving mindset, we mean making the decision to share your knowledge for free. create content that will be valuable to your ideal client, share it on your website and via social media, for free. So content is things like writing useful guides, making videos that explain things for your tribe, sending regular newsletters that your audience welcome, that look forward to getting because they're so thoughtful or helpful, maybe doing podcasts, doing events, doing good stuff and sharing with the world, and doing it just to help other people, just to help the people that you want to serve. And some people worry about this. They think, oh, should I be giving away too much for free? And if I give everything I know away for free, won't people steal it? I mean, there's a risk, but it's not a big enough risk for the benefits far outweigh the risk, so it shouldn't stop you. And some people think this content is so good, I want something for it. And if it's not money, then I want to leave. So they start gating their content all over the place. So that's a risky strategy too. Pretty much anything somebody wants to know is available online somewhere. So if you're not the one sharing it, they'll find it from somebody else. And that somebody else then has a chance to appear the kind of generous, helpful, kind, go-to resource person that actually would be good if you were that person. So giving it away for free is absolutely a fantastic thing to do. And I think if you give something to people, they're more likely to give something back to you. If you'll help them, that they'll think more warmly.
It's the law of reciprocity, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
that's the word that I always fall over.
Every helpful piece of content that you share has an opportunity to increase your visibility as an expert and your humanity, really, and your desire, and showing your desire to be of service to people. And that's a real connector.
It is.
Got some examples of this. So again, this is Andrea Howe's Get Real project. She's got a blog on the site, but she's also got Real Resources, a deeper resource library on the site. And you can see from this slide, that it covers all sorts of different formats. It's easily searchable. It's completely accessible. She really is giving a whole heap away here, and her expertise and the expertise of the team really shines through. So she's combining that sort of deep stock content with a weekly newsletter she sends out, Get Real Tips, which are short, actionable tips to help people build their soft skills over time. And it's absolutely working for her. Andrea's company is growing 20% year on year. They're getting a flood of inbound leads from exactly the right type of clients. And they've grown now to $1 million business over the last 4 years. And it's the content behind it which is really helping draw those leads in and make their business development engine fly. So it seems that from this example and from the others we're going to show you, the more you help upfront and the less you sell in your marketing, the more you end up selling. As the book behind by Bob Berg shows, go-givers actually end up selling more. So it's giving that drives that strategy. This is another...
it's one of your favourites,
I love this. This is, there's a guy called Marcus Sheridan. He's really big in content marketing world now because he's had such great success himself. This is his company, River Pools, which, as it sounds like, sells pools and spas in America. And he saved his company by making the decision to be absolutely relentlessly useful to the type of people who want to buy pools and spas. So the website here, the blog and the Learning Hub and the other content on the site answers every single question you could possibly have if you wanted to buy and install a pool or a spa. Right the way down to the type of, the pricing questions that most people really gloss over on their website because it's quite a complicated one. He dives straight in and answers all the questions around that, the comparative questions with other suppliers. He's got it absolutely all here, and that's what we'd like you to aim for too.
Another example here is John Aspirian, who is on the call with us today. John's a technical copywriter who absolutely embodies the same approach that Andrea does and Marcus Sheridan does. So he creates absolutely tons and tons of really useful content about copywriting for his clients. He gives away a heap of content. He's always there on LinkedIn. He shares it on social media. He starts conversations. He uses his content to start conversations. His tagline is relentlessly helpful, and that is him through and through, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's absolutely
shares the relentlessly helpful copywriter. In fact, he's so relentlessly helpful. We gave him our latest valuable content award. John, the badge is coming to you.
It's a real badge.
It's a real badge.
But
it's driving a whole heap of floods of inbound leads, and I love what John does, which is keeping him super busy. So it can work for one-man bands as much as it does for larger organisations too.
Is this one we were expecting?
No.
We're having a few technical issues with the slides. This one? No? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So the success factor number 4 is systems and skills. So you've got your customer focus, your business clarity, you're in a giving mindset. Now you need the systems and skills to make it happen. They're the way that you share all this fantastic content, your relentlessly helpful content. You need a way of getting out into the world. So in the example of Andrea, how she has decided that she's going to share a lot of tips. She's going to be there every week for people sharing something useful, and that can be a big drain on you if you think I'm going to do this at the same time every week. So what she does is every month she goes away to a lovely swanky hotel lobby with a colleague, and she writes a whole heap of content tips in one go. And batch writing is a kind of system for writing kind of a lot of short, snappy content that takes the pressure off consistent content creation. So she can write those, she can put it over to somebody else to upload and make sure that they
getting out of the office really works for her too. So finding a place to go, which is really nice. It makes writing a treat, really, doesn't it? And having a partner there who can look over your shoulder and give you some feedback as well. That's a pair writing. She does the same.
We're big fans of finding somebody to write with. If kind of you've got a block about writing, if you can commit to writing with another person, it just makes it do whatever you do to make your life easier. Find the systems and the skills that you need so that you can create the kind of level of content which is going to get you the results that you want.
Yeah, she's worked hard on her writing and she's absolutely brilliant at it from a skills point of view, and she's now training up other consultants in the business to get involved with the content effort too. Andrea gets help with her newsletter automation and social media, so she doesn't have to do everything herself. It's she's creating that sort of fine-tuned engine, really, isn't she, to make her marketing work, and the content is getting really great results. It's driving that growth. So you can see how the valuable content formula works now. It's a combination, isn't it, of knowing your customers, knowing your business, really going for it with generosity, being relentlessly helpful like John Esperian, and also investing in the skills and the systems that you need to make that engine work. But how do you actually make it work for you? That's where we're going to go next.
This is what's happening. We're getting out there.
So let's have a look at some successful businesses and the journey they've gone on to make this formula really work for them. There's plenty of lessons you can take away here. So how do you make the formula work?
What is it doing this?
Absolutely seamless. We know from experience that success takes thought. So if you're blocked with your content, your marketing, the very best thing you can do is to pause, to step back, and to readdress your thinking about what you're doing. Now, we know that may sound counterproductive. Stop, but we're desperate to get some results. We need sales. We promise you the time you spend now on the mindset and the strategy will pay back handsomely in terms of revenue and customer love. So sit down and let's have a bit of a powwow for a few more minutes when we get the slides working in order, and let's see if we can show you how to make the research and the strategy process really work for you. Now, we're lucky enough to have Simon Swan on this call, who works as digital transformation lead for the Met Office. He follows exactly the formula that we've been going through with you today, with real results. And we loved one of the quotes we found in one of the recent articles too. He said, digital has just accelerating the thinking that marketing is all about tactics, which it clearly isn't. Better time is spent understanding your audience, assessing your market, building a strategy, and only then applying the right tactics, whether that's online or offline. That's Simon from the Met Office. Now we're going to explain to you how to implement that strategic formula with stories from other businesses. Yep, we're back with the Get Real project again. This is Andrea Howe, and there's so many lessons you can take from this. how did they get their content approach right? Now, as we said, they're a $1 million business now, growing 20% year on year, but a few years ago, just 4 years ago, it wasn't like that at all. Andrea had loads of ambition, but there wasn't much going on in way of proactive marketing. She was a brilliant consultant and trainer, and business came in mainly via referral. She'd written a book with one of my favourite authors, Charles Green. They'd written the Trusted Advisor Field Guide. So she had plenty to say, but I don't think she'd mind me owning up to the fact that her website was really basic. It was it's a company oriented, not customer focused. And the content, the production of blogs and, that's some marketing content coming out was pretty patchy, to say the least. So how did Andrea get moving? Well, to make a change makes things different. So there has to be a from and a to. So the first step that Andrea took was to understand what good practice looked like, to look at some examples out there of people really getting results, and then to look at her own website and her own marketing and see that there was a gap, she assessed everything that she was doing and set a really clear goal of what she wanted to aim for. And that's really important. She had a goal in mind. And then we were lucky enough to work with her to do a whole heap of customer research. This gave her understanding, absolutely, of who she was selling to, but also a new confidence and clarity in what she did as a business. She was very, very clear on her customer needs, and she was clear that they wanted this constant sort of drip feed of inspiration to embed the learning. That was the real takeaway, wasn't it? In terms of the highlight. So her goal for her content and those actionable weekly tips that she shares came from the customer research that she did. So it wasn't just created for random strangers out there. Andrea has front in mind the people she's trained and their desire to embed the learning around the soft skills that she's teaching them, and that's fired up everything that she does.
I think it is that kind of the key thing is that she created content for customers first, and if you can do that, that'll really keep you motivated and keep you on track. You'll know what to write, and you'll be motivated to do it. The other things Andrea had to do, she had to update her website to the system and platform, so that now it is emotive, it is well designed, and there's a very clear path through it for her clients and potential clients to find what they want. She's got the platform, she's got email marketing sorted, she's got social media sorted. She started on Instagram, that's beginning to gain results, and she does a lot of talks as well. She's very good at talking. If you know what you're good at, you can shape your content to put it on those stages. And so talks are part of her digital marketing universe.
So behind there, see, he just walked in. She's got, she makes time for it. She's got those systems sorted. She's got a real rhythm to her content and a plan. Weekly tips by email, constant feedback, deeper content, and total engagement on the social media side. And it's really working to make her content work. So it was the client research that gave Andrea that clarity. And this is a little snapshot of the type of questions that we were asking. So very different from the, just straight feedback, how are we doing type of interview. This is really digging into the client's world, their role, their challenges, why they got in touch in the first place, what was on their minds, when it comes to hiring a training provider like Andrea. What challenges do they feel that Andrea was best placed to solve, and what's the goal, and what's the result? What do they actually achieve? So it's a totally different conversation, really. Andrea's in constant communication with clients. She has an annual survey around her weekly tips, and another round of client feedback has just completed to help her ramp up the content marketing going forward. So it's constant curiosity and learning which is driving her success.
Curiosity is a brilliant word for content creators, isn't it? Yes, be curious, really, really want to understand more and more. The more you kind of ask and the more you find out, that the deeper and richer your content will be.
That's true.
No, we're going. We've got Just
we can start on this one. Okay, this is another example of a very different business who are getting absolutely great results from their content. This is Playing Out, and this is a Bristol success story where we're based. It's a fantastic organisation, a small, ambitious crew trying to make really big social changes and making some real dents in the world as a result. They want to make our streets a place for kids to play again, like a lot of us had when we were children. More freedom, happier communities, less loneliness. What is not to love? This is a really important organisation, and their blogs, their newsletters, their social media community is working for them and getting parents and residents on board. But they became clear a couple of years ago when they came to our school in the pub, our pub school, that they wanted to make a greater impact more quickly. And to do so, they had to get local authorities on board. Now, sensibly, they've worked out that that's a very different content challenge to residents and families. So again, they paused and they stepped back and they took time out to create a strategy from the content side that would work for local authorities. And this again was based, you won't be surprised, in deep research. So they conducted about 15 interviews with ideal recipients on the local authority side to find out exactly what their challenge was in terms of creating a Playing Out policy and what content would really help them to carry that out. So yeah, the message really here is if you've got different types of customers, you've got different customer groups with different needs, then create contents just for them. So this is an example of their website showing they've got information not just for residents.
So information for councils who will have a whole set of different challenges but to make their mission work, they need the kind of decision makers on side, people who can really accelerate the process of getting more streets closed, more children outside playing. So there's useful information for them on the website too. And
there's a specific email newsletter for local authorities. They've had a very successful event recently in Bristol where they brought loads of local authority workers here to hear more on this approach. There's about 400 local authorities in the country and they've got about 60 of them now, and that number's growing rapidly because of the content, and the word is starting to spread. They've got 900 different communities around the country now that are playing out, coming to a street near you if you're in this country soon. So we love this from Ingrid, who's Skills, who's one of the Playing Out founders.
Yeah, she said that vague thinking means vague content. If you're not clear, if you're not clear what you're doing, you won't be able to create content that works. So if you want your content to work for you, then you need to go deeper. Step back and do the strategic thinking and research up front. That's what's worked for them. That's what's making their mission really be able to take off, was that thinking and research up front.
So how do you get your content right? There are some examples of businesses who are making it work. They've gone through that journey and the formula that we shared with you. But how about you? What does it take to get your valuable content so good that great things are happening for you and your business?
The first thing really is to pause and, like you're doing now, step back. And then when you've done that, then you can move forward kind of at pace again. So be clear on your objectives, your ultimate goal. What's the change that you want to make? Why do you want to start using content more strategically for your business? What do you want it to do for you? Know your customers, know them inside out, know their challenges, know what they're struggling with, and know how you can help them. Know your business, so be clear on your purpose and your mission, and also be clear on what you're selling. Adopt this generous mindset. Decide we're going to help all that we can. Have a written strategy and plan. It makes a huge difference if you write this stuff down. If you write your goals down. If you write down who your customers are. If somehow the act of committing it to paper or screen makes a big difference in making it happen. And invest in the systems and the skills that you need. So work out where your gaps are and get help to make it all happen for you.
There is a journey to get this working. So again, we've got a couple of different ways. I think you just saw a sneak preview of the map there, but this is one way of thinking about it. So on your marks, get set, go, and keep going. Those are the different stages. So what we've been talking about here mainly is the on your mark stage, where you step back and you do your research and you're thinking to work out what to say, when, where and how. You've then got evidence to increase, the clarity that you've got about your business. And if you've got a larger organisation, that evidence, what customers actually want will help bring others on the journey. And you've got that clear strategic decision making done. It's just a matter of writing it down, documenting it, so you remember what you're going to be held to in terms of your content strategy. But that's not the end of the journey. So either get set stage or stage 2. This is the sort of construction phase. The first one was discovery and exploration. This is definitely construction. There's always work to do on your website and your platforms to make them more customer focused, more emotive, and more joined up, and that's what's going to get it working. And there's work to do then on the skills for yourself, and building, the skills of you and the team around you as well. And then that's not the end of the journey either. So you've got to actually get going. This is, when you get to share your message and stories with the world, and get that momentum going. It's a job of consistency as much as it is anything else in terms of content. So you want a real sort of festival of valuable content that just keeps on going out into the world. Here's another way of looking at it.
Come on. Where are you? That one.
So if you want your content to work on a journey, this is another way of that on your mark, get set, go in stages.
Maps, we love maps. So this is the on your marks, get set, go, but in a more visual format. So over here we see Powell Plain. This is the place where you get your message clear. You do the research, you work on your positioning and purpose, you work on your strategy. You get the team together, and when you've done that, you can start creating. You know what valuable content your clients want, you'll know what content's going to help your business, and you'll know how your website needs to change. We also think of this stage as a stage where you get more confidence around your message, because that's a big thing that can hold people back from creating content, is feeling confident that they're doing the right thing. And also clarity, massively important to be clear, to know, have a clear message that you can share. When you've done that, then you can start making the street step over to Customerville. You'll have a newsletter that you can share. You'll have content that you can share on social media. You'll be able to start doing events that have a kind of, you know what will work for you. You know how to attract people to them. You can start doing some sales campaigns using this content. And you can maybe develop some kind of really super valuable content, that expert stuff, maybe like Andrea's book or ebook, something that really shows your expertise in absolute depth. You'll be able to do that once you've done all this hard work and hard thinking over here and on construction.
But then the valuable sales campaigns, again, I was in sales going back a while, and this kind of valuable content, having a guide or a piece of research or something, interesting to people to open those doors is so key. So before you get to the stage when you get a flood of inbound leads, you can use all this content you've been creating proactively to get you the sales and the interest and the awareness that you need to move forward. So it works at every level. So this is, in summary, how you get your content right. Ideally, you want to be able to say yes to each of these statements, don't you?
You do. So you want to be able to say yes, to know what your goals are. I invest in content because it's got to be something specific and meaningful. You've got to be able to say, yes, I know my customers. I know exactly who I'm talking to. I understand their world and how I fit, and I deliver what they need to thrive. You need to be able to say, yes, I'm clear on my business. I'm clear on why I'm doing what I do, and how I help.
Just like Simon Sinek in that golden circle, isn't it, that we shared?
And say, yes, I am going to adopt a generous mindset. I commit to doing all I can to help my audience. I'm going to help, not sell, through the content I create and share. You want to have written your strategy down. You want to have a written plan. You want to be able to tick that off your list. I have done that. And finally, you need to be able to invest in the systems and the skills that you need to make all this work. So yes, I've got a good website and I've got the right mix of channels, systems and skills to create content, get it out in the world, and so my business can thrive.
Sharon talked before about making the power of writing things down there's work and thought to do and a number of exercises to get that clear. But if you can boil it down to simple enough that you can get it on a page, then you know you're doing a good job. This is our content strategy canvas that we help people fill in, stick on the wall behind them, and it really just helps to motivate them and keep them on track. That's the one.
Yes, it worked first time. This is a quote from somebody who we really rate. Bernadette Jiwa has written some fantastic books on storytelling, and this is a lovely summary of what marketing should be, really. Marketing done right is an act of generosity. It's work that matters for people who care. And that's what we would like you to be able to do, to kind of create valuable content, important stuff, and be able to show that you care through the content that you create and share with the world. This is our manifesto. This is something we wrote going on for 8 years ago now, I think. But we haven't changed. This is still what we hold really dear. And I think if you want a customer-focused approach to your marketing, this will work for you too. So the first thing is we will put our customers' needs first. We'll help, not sell. We'll give knowledge away generously. We'll focus on a niche. We'll tell a good story. We'll commit to quality. And we'll write from the heart.
So that's the valuable content formula.
We're launching a coaching program, which will be kicking off next week. So it could well be that you've watched this and you've got enough tips to kind of get going. It might, hopefully this has unblocked a few things for you around the challenge of content creation, giving you some ways to start and tackle them yourselves. But if you'd like our help with it, then our content coaching program will, as I said, start next week. You'll get an email soon with a link to a bit more information about it. And we're really excited about this because we know the difference that it makes if you can get this right, the way content can transform the fortune of a business. And we love helping people make it happen. We like being able to share those success stories. So if you'd like our help to make this work for you, do check out the course.
And that's it. We want to wish you the very best of luck with all you're doing on the content front. We know that if you create valuable content for your customers, then good things happen for you and your business. And we wish you the very best of luck. Do let us know if you have any more questions, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, you pressed all over.